starts, immediately what will happen? The machine will read the card. The card reader on the machine will read the customer ID. Customer ID is now sent to application server. Application server will create the instance. So instance is created where? On the server inside the firewall. Inside the firewall. Next, a reference to that instance is created. A reference to that instance is created and sent back to client. Sent back to client. See, this instance is created on the server. A pointer to this instance, what we call reference, is now coming to the client. Now, what the client will receive, the client will receive a reference. Array, some name I am giving, that's all. That's a reference. Just I'll call R1, R2, R3. Where R1 is a reference to C1. R2 is a reference to C2. R3 is a reference to C3. So any actions on R1 are performed on C1. Any actions on R2 are performed on C2. Any actions on R3 are performed on C3. Is the point clear, all of you? Yes or not? So this is what I showed you the pictures to you yesterday. Yeah. So there are the references what I created. R1, R2, R3. Now, can the client call the methods by using the reference now? Can the client call the methods by using the reference or not? Yeah, client can call the methods on the reference. Actually, when you click on the buttons, internally actions are performed. What is it? You said balance inquiry. You click on a button, balance inquiry. It will display the balance. But there is some code in the click of the button here. When you click on the button, it is just going to call the method. It is going to call you the method. All of you, are you attending HTML classes? JavaScript is going on there still or not? In JavaScript, you'll be learning about these events basically. In the events, what's it? Button click. On the button click, it will call you a function. When you click on the button, a function will be called. Same thing only, on the click of the button, a method will be called. We'll look at this in ASP.NET classes. We will look at that process in ASP.NET classes. In ASP.NET, I'll show you how this is going to be happening for you. The methods are called. So, what is the logic in the click of the button here? So, for the first one wants to deposit some money. You click on the deposit button. Once he clicks on the deposit button, it will ask you how much amount you want to deposit. You enter 3,000. Click OK. And in the bottom, the cash chamber opens. You put the cash in the chamber. Once you put the cash in the chamber, it will count it and show you a denomination and ask you to click confirm. Yes or not? The logic under the confirm button, this is the logic under the confirm button. Under the confirm button, the logic will be R1 dot deposit. How much? You enter the amount there now. That is taken as a parameter. That is taken as a parameter in this particular case. R1 dot deposit 3,000. And this logic executes in the click of the button. Immediately, what happens? This method will execute now. What's it? Balance plus equals to amount. What is the amount? 5,000. Currently amount is 5,000 plus 8,000 now. So what is the amount here now? 8,000. 5,000 plus 3,000. 8,000. What next? In the next step, it will update the database. So now it will go to database now. Updates to the database. And once it updates to the database, immediately this object will be destroyed. It will destroy the object. Now, second customer wants to do some transaction. Now. What? You want to withdraw. So you click on withdraw button. System asks how much you want to withdraw. You entered 4,000 and you clicked on confirm. And the logic in the confirm button is this. R2 dot withdraw the amount what you entered. How much? 4,000. Again, it will go to here, updates it, 15,000 will become 11,000. After becoming 11,000, it will go to database and it changes the value to 11,000. Okay? Now third customer wants to perform a funds transfer. He clicked on funds transfer. When he clicked on funds transfer, the system has asked him, come on, tell me to whose account you want to transfer. I want to transfer to account number 104. How much you want to transfer? 5,000. First what will happen? This completed now, and this is completed, this object is destroyed, guys. Now, first 5,000 is deducted from here, this will become 20,000. Now it will connect to database and makes this as 20,000 and makes this as 40,000. Once completed, immediately this instance is destroyed. The instance will be destroyed for you like this. Why it will destroy? Why it will destroy means, have you noticed it, guys, in the ATM? Today you can do only one transaction. You cannot do multiple transactions here. How many transactions you can do? One only. Once after completing the transaction, it will automatically completely close off the application. If you want to do another transaction, again you are required to swipe the card and start the transaction. You cannot do continuous transactions on an ATM. Only single transaction. Once completed, object will be destroyed. So I want to withdraw some 50,000. But it has only 500 rupees notes. 500 rupees notes, how many will be dispensed at a time? ATM can display only 40. Means at a time I can withdraw 20,000 only. Means I want to withdraw 50,000 means I require to try 3 times. 20,000, 20,000, 10,000. Correct or not? I require to try for 3 times. 20, 20, 10. This is how I should try. Okay? Guys, remember this one. What's it? So why 3 times I need to swipe the card, enter the PIN number and do it? Why can't I do continuously? Means after completing a transaction, why don't it ask me, do you want to continue? And if I say yes, again the menu open, again I can enter the amount and withdraw. So if it happens like this, I don't require to swipe the card, enter the PIN number for 3 times now, 1 time, it can do. Yes guys, really, ATMs used to work like this in the initial stages. ATMs used to work like this in the initial stages. How? Once you complete a transaction, it opens a menu asking you, do you wish to continue? If I say yes, again, the menu will open, again perform a transaction. Again will ask you, do you wish to continue? If I say yes again will open the menu and continues. Like this guys, it just provides you option to do multiple transactions. Used to provide, but that was stopped later for security reasons. What security reasons? Multiple transactions have multiple problems actually. What are the multiple problems? In the multiple transactions, guys, your card will stay inside the ATM machine until all the transactions are completed. Your card will stay inside the ATM machine until all the transactions are completed. Means what it does, it will take the card inside. It will take the card inside. Means when you insert the card completely goes inside. Won't stay outside. Completely card is going to take inside. That's how the ATMs used to run in the starting days. After taking the card, you do a transaction. You complete a transaction. Again it will ask you, do you wish to end the transaction? Yes. Menu opens again, you can do another transaction. Again it will ask you. If you say no, the card comes out of the machine. So there are severe problems here. Problem number 1. Sometimes these cards used to be stuck in the machine. When these cards are stuck in the machine, you lost your card, guys. You lost your card in the sense you can get back the card by going to the nearest branch next day. But suppose you went out of station and you lost your card there and you're returning back today and tomorrow, and day after tomorrow, Saturday, Sunday, holidays, Monday you require to collect the card in the bank now. So will you wait there all the time? So this is a danger. So that's why there is one reason, one problem. Second problem is people are careless about the card. They only bother about the money but not about the card. They insert the card goes inside. You withdraw money, you get the money. You take the money and go away. You're very careless about your card. So many people used to do it. Leave the card inside the machine, got the money out, take the money, leave the counter. Okay, who don't have proper knowledge on using the ATM machines? After getting the money, okay, got the money out, take the money, go away. So you went off. After you went off, I was the next person. I went to the machine. By the time I went to the machine is asking there, what do you wish to do on the transaction? Did you catch my point or not? Your card is inside. You did not take the card and the machine is asking, do you wish to do on the transaction? I will click on yes button. Menu will open. I'll click on balance inquiry. I'll come to know the balance. Again I'll click on yes button. Again I'll go for money withdrawal and withdraw the money. Or I'll go a funds transfer and transfer the money into my account. Did you catch my point or not? These are the dangers what we have, guys. And third danger is basically this: when you're doing multiple transaction, the object stays on the server for a long time. The object stays on the server for a long time. So people get a chance to hack the data also. People get a chance to hack the data. So breaking the firewalls. Hackers will do that, guys. Break the firewalls and hit the server and hack the data. The chance is there. Okay? So that's why to restrict that single transaction. Single transaction, what is the advantage? Objects will be created and destroyed off in the next second. You noticed any time you inserted your card, enter the PIN number, but you did not select any operation. Within 10 seconds, operation timed out. The objects won't stay for a long time. If the objects stay for a long time, hackers will get a chance to hack the data. So that's why these objects will not be staying for a long time on the server. They will be destroyed off immediately. Okay, in single transaction that only happens. Once the transaction completed, next second this object will be destroyed on the server. That's why they restricted the option of doing multiple transactions, and today all ATM machines provide you option only to do one transaction only. One single transaction only permitted. That's why all these objects are destroyed off immediately. Is it clear, all of you, how the systems are going to work? It's what you require to write all the coding. Database you require to design, classes you require to design, UI you require to design. Actually, what are we learning, In SQL Server classes, you'll be learning about database designing. In C# classes, you'll be learning about middleware writing. Middleware, we are writing the application server code now. In ASP.NET classes, you'll be learning the UI. You'll be learning the UI. So finally in ASP, all these three integrates together and we'll get a final application. In database, you'll be learning database only. In C#, you'll be learning only about the logic. Integrations all will not come. When will you learn all the things? When you go to ASP.NET, there you'll learn UI. After learning UI, you will see all the three integrations now. UI to the logic to the database. How all these three are connected with each other, we'll check it out in our ASP.NET and MVC classes. Is it clear, all of you? In ASP.NET and MVC, you will come to know about all the appropriate things. Okay, there I'll show you all those things. But meanwhile, you can just do that. Complete all the appropriate things. See, SQL you're doing? SQL or HTML, any of these particular things. You started, now? Okay, do it. Just do it. Meanwhile, mostly after completing your batch, you'll have an ASP.NET. You'll have a ASP.NET continuation. So in the ASP.NET, you'll be learning about all the integration part. Okay. By the time you'll be completing of HTML also, ASP.NET is tightly coupled with HTML. If you're not started with SQL Server, started because after starting ASP.NET, after 1 month, SQL Server will start there. 1 month, only UI designing will be done. After that, SQL Server. By the time you will be doing SQL Server also. Are you clear? You will be learning about all the integrations part in that place. Yeah, you can do SQL in the next batch. You start SQL in the next batch. And HTML, we don't have any great logic there now. It's only about designing. You don't have great logics with HTML. It's an easy thing. That's all. It all about your designing skills. That's it. Okay. So, are you guys clear with the complete application process? So we'll see practically in ASP.NET how to combine all the appropriate things. So just given you an idea of all the things to make you understand about each and every member of a class, instances, security, to tell you I shown you, that's all. What's it? Classes basically contains fields. Fields are for holding the values. Contains constructor. Constructors for initializing. Methods. Methods are for performing actions. We create multiple instances to a class. What is the need? Every instance will represent one customer. How many instances you create, that many customers. For every customer, writing one class is easier. For every customer, writing one class is easier. Million customers are there, million classes you should write. Or writing one class and creating million instances is easy or not? That's all you're doing. Every customer is one instance. Okay? In the process, I explained you about security, what security it offers to you. Next, I explained you about what is the need of references. References will be created and sitting on the client system and access to the server. They'll be providing access to the server computer. So all these particular integrations are what we just been talking about. So these are the things what you learned in the last 1 week, guys. After you started object-oriented programming, these are the things what you learned. What? About classes, methods, constructors, fields, instance creations. Okay, need of instances, need of references. Everything I combined everything to you and showed you in this case study. Are you clear? Okay, one more thing I'll just tell you. One more thing, let me complete that also. What's it? Guys, in this class, I want to declare a few more things. What's it? A few more fields I want. What do you want? I want one field to count the number of transactions done on the server. Just like on the YouTube, you have a view count. A view count here in the YouTube, you have a view count for a particular video. How many people watch the video? View count will be there now. Same way, I want to count the transactions. I want to count the transaction. Transaction count I want to do now. How many transactions are performed? How can you do? Every transaction requires a new instance or not? How many transactions an instance can perform? I said you, one only. Okay, one instance can do you only one transaction. So how many transactions are performed? If you can count the number of instances created, that many transactions are performed because one instance can do only one transaction. So count the number of instances created. How can I count? I'm declaring a field here, guys. Public long count. Public long count. Okay, long I'm taking count. And now I'll come here and I'll say count plus equals to 1. Now tell me, guys, whenever the instance is created, constructor is called or not? Whenever the constructor is called, count is incremented. So this will count the number of instances created. How many instances are created? That many transactions are done now. Are you clear? One more, guys. I want to declare one string variable. To maintain the name of the bank to whom the application is being done. Bank name. So public string bank name is equals to which bank you are developing the application. I'm developing an application for ICICI Bank Limited or something, guys, your choice. Okay now? So this is what I'm just going to have. So these are the fields what I have. Customer ID, name, balance, count, bank name. Totally how many fields? 5 fields. You remember now, every class will have 4 different types of fields. Static, non-static, constant, read-only. I said you the behavior of each and everything. Static, single copy, modifiable. Constant, single copy, non-modifiable. Read-only, non-static. Tell me how many copies first? 0 to? Yeah, how to tell that? A separate copy for each instance. Modifiable or non-modifiable? Modifiable. Read only. Tell me everything here. You're telling only one. How many copies? That also you tell now. Why you're telling 0 to? And now only I said you a separate copy for each instance. I said you now follow the same only. Non-static and read only same only na. When I said you non-static, why you don't understand read only? Non-static is a separate copy for each instance, non-modifiable. Okay, come again, static. Array, how many copies? Tell that first. Single copy, modifiable, constant. Single copy, non-modifiable, non-static. Srinivas? Non-static. Non-static here. Do you know English? I am explaining each and everything and you are not able to answer. Separate copy for each instance. It's a separate copy for each instance. Should I make you the calculation and by heart each and every word? Separate copy for each instance. Modifiable or non-modifiable? Modifiable. Read only. Separate copy for each instance. Non-modifiable. Okay, proper English. Use the proper English. Tomorrow you go to interviews, you should answer properly, na? Okay? Again. Yeah, come again. Tell me static again. I want the perfect definition. Single copy, modifiable, constant. Single copy, non-modifiable, non-static. Separate copy for each instance, modifiable. Read only. Separate copy for each instance, non-modifiable. Are you clear? Okay. Now guys, all of you answer this question. Customer ID should be which one now? Static, constant, read only or non-static? Come on, answer. Customer ID should be of which type? It is a... That's why I scold you brainless fellows. You have 3 copies there and you're telling constant. Just now I made you speak an English totally, na? Single copy, separate copy for each instance. You have single copy or separate copy for each instance? Louder. Then why you are telling constant then? Constant means single copy or separate copy for each instance? Constant. Constant is single copy. Here what we have? Separate copy for each instance. Then how you are telling constant then? Wrong answer. Think. Customer ID, which type? Non-static is wrong answer. Read only, read only. Why? Customer ID is non-modifiable. Customer ID is non-modifiable. And it is a separate copy for each instance. See now? One copy or multiple copies there? Multiple copies. Modifiable or non-modifiable? It should not be modifiable. So what you should choose now? Read only should be picked. So here, customer ID is a read only field. Come on, can you tell me name? What's the picture? Put your brains there. What's the picture? Name. Read only. Why read only? Name also cannot be modified in ATM. Name also cannot be modified in a ATM. Can you modify the name in ATM? No. Okay? What about balance? Oh, you can't modify the balance also. Then what you will do in ATM machine here? You will enjoy the AC and come out. What you do in ATM? You withdraw money. The balance is not modifiable. How will you withdraw money here? Non-static. That should be non-static. Okay? See, when you see multiple copies, you have only 2 options now. What are the 2 options? Read only, non-static. You are going to pick from these 2 only. Again, don't think about constants and static now. Because multiple copies are there. When multiple copies are there, second alternative is not there. Only that can be read only or that can be non-static. Now you need to decide modifiable or non-modifiable. In ATM, I cannot change the customer ID. I cannot change the name. But I can modify the balance. So balance should be non-static. Customer ID and name should be read only. Okay? Now, these 2 newly declared now. Can you tell me, this count should be which type? It should count all the number of instances created. It should count all the number of instances created. What should be the count? Statica, non-statica, constanta, read only. Again, decide. Come on, fast. Non-static, wrong answer. Non-static means single copy or multiple copies? Multiple copies. Multiple copies means how many copies you will have? One copy under C1, one copy under C2, one copy under C3. Yes or not? Under C1, the count was 1. Under C2, will the changes of C1 reflect to C2? It won't reflect now. Again it will be 1 only. If you go to C3, again it will be 1 only. So read only here. We are modifying the value. You're modifying the value. There is no chance for read only and constant here. Only it can be static or non-static, that's all. Read only constant is ruled out because that is modifying there. So only 2 options. What are the 2 options? Static, non-static. It cannot be non-static. Why? In non-static, changes of one instance will not reflect to the second instance. So every time the count will be 1 only. So this is a perfect example for that should be static. You want to count all the customers, then 1 copy only, na? Use your brain. You want to count all the customers, means 1 only, 1, 2, 3, I'll count like this only. Correct or not? I want to maintain the balance. Balance is not balance same for all now. Balance is separate for each customer now. So we need separate copies. But here we want to count all the customers. So that should be a single copy, static. Come on, bank name. Bank name. Louder, you are confidently. Constant, yes, this is a constant. Why? Constant, your bank name cannot be modified. Bank name cannot be modified. And when you cannot modify the bank name, there is no point of maintaining multiple copies now. 1 single copy will do the job. 1 single copy will do the job. And you remember always, static and constant are not related with your instances. They're always separately maintained. When the execution of the class starts, count starts with 0. And bank name starts with ICICI Bank. Are you clear? Okay, now, first instance, first customer came, first instance created. Count will increment to 1. And loads you all the information from the database. Second customer comes, count will become 2 and loads you all the information of second customer. Third customer comes, count becomes 3 and loads you all the information of the customers. See now, tomorrow these instances are destroyed, but the static will be like that only. Are you clear? New customers coming, count will be incrementing to you continuously. Remember, you are counting all the people. When you are counting all the people, you cannot maintain multiple copies here. If you maintain 1 copy only, you can maintain all the, you can count all the people. So that should be single copy, not multiple copies. See this, in this example I given you a live demonstration for all the 4 different kinds of fields now. Are you clear? So when you are declaring a field, first understand the characteristics of the field first. What's it? You wanted to maintain a single copy for the whole class, or you wanted to maintain it separately for each instance. If you want to maintain it separately for each instance, then you have, from the 4, 2 are ruled out. What 2 are ruled out? Static, constant are ruled out. Only 2 are left now. What are the 2? Non-static, read only. Next question you require to pose on yourself is this modifiable or non-modifiable? If your answer is modifiable, non-static. If your answer is non-modifiable, read only. Okay, next. No, I don't want it separately for each instance. I want it to be common for all. I want this to be common for all. When you want common for all, now 2 options are ruled out. Only 2 left before you. What are the 2? Static, constant. The next question you require to pose, modifiable or non-modifiable? Modifiable is the answer, constant. Modifiable is the answer, static. Non-modifiable is the answer, constant. I hope you guys are clear. That's how exactly you require to make up your decisions. That's how exactly you require to make up your decision before declaring a field about the characteristics of each and every field and how they are just going to be present. Clearer? Okay? So this is how the applications will be running for you in the real time. See, I explained the concept just like a case study for you, that's all. You won't find this particular notes there because the code won't execute at all. Just explain to the process. And I said to you, I will show you this in ASP.NET with the database programming. We'll see all the appropriate things. Just only put in the mind about the points I said to you. What is it? Need of creating multiple instances, need of creating references, okay? And also about security, what I explained to you. When to use constants, when to use read-only, when to use static, when to use non-static. What is the actual use of a constructor? Constructors are initializing the fields. When you are initializing, you remember we don't pass all the values. Key value is enough. What is the key value? Customer ID. If I pass the customer ID, rest of all the data gets loaded from the database to you. Is it clear? Rest of all the data gets loaded from the database for you. If at all, I'm just going to use the key value. So these are the things what you require to put in the mind before you are going to define the classes. Everything. This all comes into means it's not like a vaccine or an injection to inject into your body at a time here. All these things comes into picture only on practice. Only on practice. Guys, I have posted videos regarding these. Some of the things, videos are available to you. Like constructors video is there. There is a video on this one also. What instances, references, variable of a class. There is a video on that. You can go through for refreshing your topic, for refreshing your topics. I just posted videos on all the important sessions. If you have any doubts, refer to the videos also. You have videos on constructors. You can just check it out. Okay? You have videos on instance, reference, and variables. If you have any doubts on these three things, so what is the variable, what is the instance, what is the reference, you have a video on that. Just to go through the appropriate videos. So the videos will give you about the information about all the things. YouTube here, in the YouTube, Naresh Shetty / YouTube, I shown you already now. YouTube / Naresh Shetty. You go to YouTube Naresh Shetty channel. In the Naresh Shetty channel, okay, just go for youtube.com / Naresh Shetty. In the youtube.com / Naresh Shetty, you'll be finding playlists. If you go to the playlist section, in the playlists, you'll be scroll down, you'll be finding C# videos. Now nearly some 60 videos what I posted on the C#. Okay, the first video is introduction to .NET. Second video is working with Visual Studio, but that won't help you. But that is 2019, guys. We are using 22. That's in the notes I already given you for that. Okay, that video won't help you. And these are about the constructors. Actually, there are 4 videos on constructors here. Only one we learned. 2, 3, 4 we are going to learn in the later classes. Just you can watch the first video. 1 and 2 you can learn. Constructors and types of constructors you can just learn. Okay? And yeah, here you have an option of differences between variables, instance and references. Clearer? Different kinds of variables in a class. Constants, read-only. All the things I just demonstrated for you. So videos are there, guys. Okay, some videos we still did not go through them. Means we did not still come to the concept. But most of the important topics, I also posted videos for you to summarize yourself again. Doubts? You can just watch up the appropriate videos. So this is a video demonstrating about all the different kinds of fields in your class. Constants, read-only, everything and their behavior. Remember the picture? I showed you in the classroom also. Constants and read-only, how they will be initialized and all the things. So this is about the various things you have. You can just go through the appropriate videos to get a clarity. Clear? youtube.com / Naresh Shetty playlist. In that scroll down, you'll be finding C# videos. In the C# videos, you'll be getting up all the videos. The videos will be present in a sequence. You can just go through them and you can watch the videos. Okay. Fine. So till now, guys, we have learned about 2 concepts. What are the 2 concepts? Encapsulation and abstraction. What are the 2? Encapsulation and abstraction. Yeah. Wrapping the code inside a class. Abstraction, methods. You have methods in the class here. Deposit is depositing. End user simply clicks on the button, something is happening. But does the end user know the logic? How simple for the end user? Click button, that's all. It will execute the logic to you. That is what we call as abstraction. Okay? The third object-oriented principle is inheritance. The third object-oriented principle is inheritance. So today we will be learning about the inheritance. Okay, we'll start with inheritance from today. Inheritance. This is a mechanism of consuming the members that are defined in one class from other classes. Do you remember, we can consume the members of a class from other classes in two ways. I already said to you, when I defined the program class to you, the next class only I taught you test program, creating the instance of the program class in test program. So what I explained to you, consuming the members of a class from another class. And did you read the notes? You can consume the members of a class from other class in two ways. Option number one, inheritance. Option number two, creating a instance. What I taught you earlier, inheritance or creating an instance. Creating a instance I taught you. Today I am teaching you inheritance. So this is a mechanism of consuming the members that are defined in one class from another class, from other classes by establishing what you know, parent and child relationship between the classes. Between the classes by establishing parent-child relationship between the classes. By establishing this parent-child relation, we can consume the members that are defined in one class from another class. So that's the beauty of inheritance. Okay? So you can watch the picture. I already shown you this picture. Do you remember? This class 1 containing a set of, this is class 2, and there is a relation between the two classes. What relation? Parent-child relation. These are the members now. I can consume the members in other places. So this is the story how you can consume the members of one class from another class. And to do that, we are going to establish a parent-child relationship with each other. Okay now? So fine. Now, you're just going to inherit and you are going to consume the members of one class from the other class in this space. All the members you defined in class 1 can be consumed from class 2. I hope you guys are clear? Yes or not? So this is all about inheritance. This is all about inheritance and how do you consume the members of one